Our top story today from the GatewayPundit.com. Well, it turns out that Barack Obama was using USAID to pretend to send aid overseas, but was actually laundering it to train Rent-a-Riots instead. We're talking about this story and so much more here on the Gateway Pundit's Week in Review. My name is Elijah Schaffer, and this is the Gateway Pundit's Week in Review, where we cover the top 5 stories of the last 24 hours. Our top story today, Jim Hoff reports that Obama was up to no good. Mike Pence, the founder of the Foundation for Freedom Online, recently joined Joe Rogan on his very popular podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, with over 19 million subscribers. The podcast was filmed several weeks ago, but a clip from the discussion is making the rounds this week on social media. During their conversations, Mike Pence shared how Barack Obama was using money from USAID to pretend to, quote, send aid overseas. In actuality, Obama was laundering the taxpayer dollars and using it to train rent-a-mobs instead. This is a huge development, but maybe not so surprising considering how Democrats believe they can do anything they please with other people's money. From the video we can see there, we'll watch in just a moment, it's such an interesting interaction. Before we talk about that, I'd like to point something out very, very, very important. Part of the reason why we're in the position we're in is because men's testosterone levels are very low. And one of the main things that causes that, of course, is our diet and our exercise. But now it seems like genetically, the grip of a man who's 25 is weaker than the grip of a 75-year-old just in the 1950s, meaning our ability to fight, our ability to stand up for what's right, even our love lives and our sensual lives with our partners, these things can all be impacted by low testosterone levels, which are plaguing men across the country. That's why I want to talk to you guys about something very important. I want to talk to you about a product that I use, that I know many people do, and it's, of course, called Man's Edge by tboostnow.com. Now, men's testosterone levels are declining due to toxins that can cause libido, mood swings to go down. But Man's Edge from Neutronics Labs offers a natural solution with powerful ingredients like fenugreek, shown to boost testosterone by up to 46%, IGF-1 and NO2 delivering up to 98% absorption for maximum benefits. Trusted by Frank Stallone and thousands of men, Man's Edge helps you reclaim your energy and youth. Sign up for auto ship to save 50%. That's buy one, get one free by using my promo code Elijah, ELIJAH, for an extra 20% off your first order at tboostnow.com. Get control of your testosterone levels because this is special. It doesn't go into your stomach. This is a carbon delivery method, sublingual, under your tongue. So there's only 2 ways to get your testosterone up using supplementation. It's either injecting intramuscularly into your behind, which is a true statement. A lot of people do that. Or you can use a sublingual under your tongue to absorb that way. Because if you go through your gut and try to take a pill, it doesn't actually help you. So make sure that you check it out today at tboostnow.com, promo code Elijah. I want to play this video for you here. We'll play just a little bit of it. Watch as Mike Pence explains exactly what he's talking about when it comes to this insane new development of corruption from the Obama administration.
This was a scandal during the Obama USAID era. Now, we were running a number of rogue USAID operations in Cuba at the time. By the way, I have to say for the record, I'm no fan of the Cuban government. I'm not even weighing in on whether it's the right or wrong thing to do, in terms of regime change there or, liberating people there from autocratic excess by that government. I'm simply showing the American people where your tax dollars are going and how these things are structured in order to systematically fool you and to fool Congress and to fool the White House. So, for example, this is, and I'll show a couple other things in a second here, but this is Zunzaneo. So you just scroll for a second, we'll start with this, right? So it was an online social media, just scroll up 1 second, we'll start at the top here. It was an online social networking microblogging service created by USAID and marketed to Cuban users. This was a Twitter knockoff. See, the background of this is 2009, 2014, that period. The State Department and USAID were gangbusters gung-ho on the promise of Arab Spring style social media revolutions to topple other governments. That the Arab Spring was a Facebook revolution and a Twitter revolution. USAID pumped $1.2 billion in, and we sponsored these activist groups and these civil society organizations to learn how to use Facebook, learn how to use Twitter, learn how to use hashtags, learn how to coordinate street protests so that everyone knows where to go, what street to show up on, what kind of slogans to use in order to create the pro-democracy, predicate for it. But the problem was at the time, Cuba did not allow U.S. social media in. So they said, so they're not allowing Twitter in. How can we get a Twitter there, but without calling it Twitter, without making it look like it's coming from the U.S.? So what they did is they took the exact same thing as Twitter. Same user interface, same like and retweet button. Zunzanillo is the Cuban slang word for hummingbird. So it means it's bird. It was the Twitter bird, the whole thing. But the whole trick about it was you have to make it look like it's coming from the Cubans if you're going to do this operation. So what you'll see is it began running. So this is 2010. This is right, during the Arab Spring. And what you'll see is they took funds, millions of dollars of funds that were concealed as humanitarian funds designated for Pakistan. Now, I don't know if Joe or the audience, if you've looked at a map lately, but Pakistan is not exactly the next door neighbor of Cuba. Right. So, and this is the Wikipedia whitewashing, and we can get into the deeper layers of this, but contractors funded by USAID, I should note the main contractor was Creative Associates International, who's a frequent one. It's CAI, not CIA, I promise. So they concealed in the budget from Senate, from Congress, from the White House National Security Council. They said that these were humanitarian funds for Pakistan. And then they ran that to their contractor, CAI, to, quote, set up a Byzantine system of front companies using Cayman Islands bank accounts and recruiting unsuspecting business executives who would not be told of the company's ties to the U.S. government, according to the AP. The private companies like Creative Associates International designed the network. The idea arose after they were given 500,000 stolen Cuban cell phones that were available on the black market. And then what you'll see if you scroll down is, the network dubbed the Cuban Twitter reached about 60,000 Cuban subscribers. The initiative appears to also have had a survey.
So you can see this is actually really crazy, right? The idea that Obama came out and just used the money to do alternate things. USAID, no wonder why judges are trying to get it put back into place. This is a slush fund that's being used to control the Democrat Party, using our taxpayer dollars to fund it. Now, that being said, it also turns out that Dem infighting worsens. Rising Star takes direct shot at touring AOC. Well, it turns out the Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wants to make hay while the sun is shining and potentially become her state's next senator. Senator Elisa Slotkin, having recently been promoted from the lower to upper chamber by Michigan voters, wants AOC to know that crowing about getting more progressive sounds great until you have to actually get things done. So it's ambition and wishful thinking versus pragmatic realism on the Democratic side. Yet again, alas for Slotkin, it's been my experience that while the latter wins the ballot box, the former wins the hearts and minds of the activist class. A bit of background. For those of you who missed it and are blessed sort of if you did, AOC is joining independent socialists, Senator Bernie Sanders, on a fighting oligarchy barnstorming tour. Up into the western leg of the tour, Sanders' journey has been mostly about rallying the progressive base in the face of the most resounding loss for their cause at the national ballot box since 2004. Not only did Kamala Harris not win a single swing state, Republicans took several Senate seats and were close in a few other states that weren't even supposed to be competitive in, and managed to retain control of the House of Representatives. However, now that Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has become a recent convert to the pragmatism when he realizes that he didn't have the votes to force any sort of meaningful debate on the continuing resolution to keep the government open, the western leg of the tour has been a venue for the faithful to chant primary Chuck, according to NBC. There's an obvious carrot in this for AOC. The more enraged and engaged the base that prompted some of the Ocasio-Cortez's House colleagues to encourage her to mount a primary challenge to Schumer, her fellow New Yorker, in 2028. The fact is, look, if you're to the left of Chuck Schumer, that is absolutely diabolical. I mean, what do these people want? Has New York not suffered enough? Is Manhattan not falling apart? Do they really need more and more leaders to make it more and more progressive? Do we need to give more homeless people handouts? Do we need to bring in more third world immigrants and give them more hotel rooms? I thought that New York was moving into a less progressive state, especially with Mayor Eric Adams talking about the fact that he worked with Trump and wanted to push all the illegals out. I mean, what's happened to our country is disgusting. But to find out that people want to change the progress we're making under Trump into something like this, well, I'll be damned. I want no part in it. That being said, it also turns out that the barely seen Trump quote on teachers that the established media wishes that he never said. It took a man like President Donald Trump to finally tell the truth about American teachers. And we have the clip for you here that I'd like to play in just a moment. But, as we talk about this, you ask yourself the question, what did happen to our education system? It is pretty remarkable how bad things have gotten. And while Trump is pro-teacher, seeing him talk about this is so vital. Listen to his direct words. Watch.
I want to just make one little personal statement. Teachers, to me, are among the most important people in this country. And we're going to take care of our teachers. And I don't care if they're in the union or not in the union. That doesn't matter. but we're going to take care of our teachers. And I believe the states will take actually better care of them than they are taken care of right now. They'll work all sorts of systems and even merit systems. Those great teachers are going to be maybe a little bit better rewarded, or maybe that's the way it should be, but the states are going to make that decision. But we're going to love and cherish our teachers along with our children, and they're going to work with the parents, and they're going to work with everybody else, and it's going to be an amazing thing to watch, and it's really.
Yeah. I mean, look, he says, look, we do care about our teachers, and we do. I'm not a big firm believer in public schools, but at least if you're going to send your kids to public school, we got to have a school system that works for the parents and also doesn't indoctrinate our kids into this weird woke mind virus, right? I mean, this is getting out of hand. People say that Trump is anti-union, he's anti-teacher. That's just not true at all. Now, that being said, I want to talk to you guys about something really important. You know, right now, the world's smartest investors are not investing in the stock market and crypto. You probably see the markets are so unstable. They're all over the place. It's not really because of Trump. It's more or less just because of what he's doing. He's kind of shaking up the market. And the Federal Reserve, you know, they play a role. Well, right now, investors are bypassing oil stocks and instead are opting for what's called mailbox money through oil royalties, a form of passive income that arrives with an entry point as little as $25. Now, this opportunity, accessible via ElijahOil.com, allows anyone with a standard brokerage account, no wealth or connections required, to tap into monthly royalty checks from America's most productive oil basin. Visit ElijahOil.com, ElijahOil.com, to learn how you can start collecting these consistent oil royalty payments. That's ElijahOil.com to learn how you can start collecting these consistent oil royalty payments today. Check it out, ElijahOil.com, before it's too late. Now, that being said, in other news, it turns out something interesting is happening. Well, Speaker Johnson reveals House plans to limit abuses of activist judges and expose the worst offenders. House Speaker Mike Johnson on Saturday vowed to work to limit the abuse of activist federal judges. Radical leftist judges are waging an all-out war against President Trump, Trump voters, and the executive branch. We are in a constitutional crisis. President Trump, in less than 2 months, has faced 129 legal challenges by activist judges. Only 2 cases are closed. Now, that being said, Trump faced 64 injunctions halting his policies. Top Democrat Senator Chuck Schumer even boasted about putting 235 progressive judges on the bench. Meanwhile, the U.S. Supreme Court has failed to act, and Chief Justice John Roberts is dragging his feet on Trump's emergency appeal related to nationwide injunctions. Obama Judge Tanya Chutkan ruled last week that Democrat state attorneys generals can't access information about DOJ employees working to cut waste and fraud in the government. She docks the young Gen Z whiz kids working to cut government waste. Crazy American-hating Judge Beryl Howell blocked President Trump from banning DNC law firm Perkins Coie from all government business and buildings. Recall that Hillary Clinton and the DNC paid law firm Perkins Coie more than $1 million to hire Oppo research firm Fusion GPS to peddle the bogus Trump-Russia dossier during the 2016 election. Now, there is a plan to stop this. You'll have to read more of it there at thegatewaypundit.com, but I encourage you to check it out because this assault on our liberties through these activist judges is disgusting, and it allows Trump to not get anything done. Now, critics say that this is, of course, just the checks and balances, but is it really, or is this weaponization? I think we know. Lastly, it's important to understand that Biden-appointed U.S. attorney was found dead in her Virginia home. It turned out the Biden-era U.S. attorney for Eastern District of Virginia was found dead in Alexandria. The cause of manner of death is unknown. She was 43, found unresponsive on Saturday morning. Her death is under investigation. Well, who knows exactly what happened there? I'd love to hear your best thoughts below. We wish her and her family peace, and always reminder that any day we could die. Make today count, and love those and cherish those around you. Anyway, my name is Elijah Schaffer. Thank you for watching another episode of the Gateway Pundits Weekend Review. If you like stories like this, make sure that you sign up for our mug club at thegatewaypundit.com. You can get our mug. It is extremely well made, and you can drink your tea every morning. Then come back to me to get your tea, which is your daily political gossip and news, whatever it is that we're giving you here, which is original investigations. I don't know. Top tier reports, the best stuff in the business. You know how we are. And we're always slammed for it, right? We're always getting demonetized and canceled. So make sure that you pick up the mug to support us, support yourself, and your morning. Start right with a cup of hot coffee or tea in a Gateway Pundit mug at thegatewaypundit.com. Have a great rest of the week as always. And may God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.